drawing, what you want. Yeah. So what do you want to see drawn?
Aquaman. Man, Aquaman is so gay. What? Big Bang Theory.
Aquaman, do we have a scenario?
Oh, wait, he wasn't serious, right?
Emma Frost, any other suggestions?
Yeah, can we use you as a model? Is that it?
Skeletor?
Iron Man in his aqua armor.
Mr. Miracle.
Eclipso.
Not Eclipso.
Alright, so maybe one of you can take each of the suggestions. One of you guys can
Well, I'll gladly take Aquaman.
Alright. And then zombies? Who wants to do zombies? Zombies seems to be a popular request.
You know what? Since I didn't bring a pencil, me drawing a zombie, messing it up probably will look good. So.
Zombies, cool. And Mike, do you want to take Emma Frost? And by that I mean draw.
Let's see what's going on.
My wife and my mom right here.
Awesome. So
Can I just interject real quick? And this happens at my church all the time. We have some open seats, people. Nobody has to stand necessarily. So anybody who wants to, are you guys aren't saving these chairs for anybody? No. Well,
Scooch together, guys.
We're all friends and family here. Raise your hand if you got an friend here next to you. We can bring them in. It's like Easter. Come on. There we go. All right. See.
maybe you can even convince people to move over so that we'll be two seats together. No, it doesn't seem like there's many of those left. Do you guys have paper?
I'll assume that this is what this is.
Yes, I'm sure that is for drawing.
But I have no well, I guess I got you up these. I foolishly thought they'd supply us.
Game prepared.
Oh, BYOP.
So how'd you guys get into comics?
Well, I was drawing ever since I can remember, basically, and how I really made the extra effort to get into comics is I saw the first Tim Burton Batman film. And, it was funny because I put comics away because they were for kids and stuff, and I was going to try and get like a real job. And then I went and saw Batman, and they used to have Golden Age Collectibles was right next to the theater on Granville Street, and I came out of the theater and just walked right into the comic store, and this was like '89, and everything was all image lines everywhere. And I was like, that's not the kind of art I want to do, and I was it was really a weird time because I didn't think art that I liked would be popular, and it wasn't at that time. So I remember submitting stuff, and all the editors were, can you make it busier, lots more lines and stuff, and so I tried doing that for a while. So it took a few more years until my style kind of got more popular.
That's crazy.
Nice. Did you ever have that moment, that one meeting, you got your card into the right guy's hands at that time? Because everyone has a different way of getting in.
I was submitting stuff pretty regularly through. This is pre-internet, so everything was in mail. You're mailing things and photocopies and stuff like that. So I started going to San Diego Con, and I guess I should be drawing. Meeting people is a big part of getting a job in comics. Because talent gets you so far, but if they don't like you, then they're not going to hire you. So face-to-face time is super important. Back then, there was a submissions editor at DC who was very likable and liked my stuff, and he was a big proponent of doing my work. Neil Posner.
Oh yeah, sweet.
But then he died. And so I had to kind of start all over again and making that connection. And it was until Mark Chiarello kind of picked up my stuff and kind of got it going further.
Sweet. Yeah. I'm just going to talk to you guys while you draw, so that way our audience is kept entertained.
I would like to interject that I was so graciously handed a pencil, so now I don't necessarily have to do a zombie. So if there was another request, I'll do the zombie.
Eclipso.
Skeleton. I'm a little old.
Hellboy.
I don't think I could remember that one from memory. Speed Racer maybe, but
Yeah. Yeah, Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
I think people want you to do
Do the
Speed
man who
Racer,
hated
now
cars.
that you mentioned it.
no, I mean I meant
That was the best.
Did they not reject him on all this? Why?
Zombie Speed Racer.
Yeah, you guys were all just drawing different stuff, and then after, you guys have raffle tickets, and then we're gonna draw a raffle to see who gets the sketches. I'm sure there's supposed to be actually some sort of dueling component. My arms up on the
Yeah, I
screen,
originally thought we were all
where-
drawing the same thing, and everybody was just going to kind of look, and then it was, I don't know what the projection meant.
Well, when you guys are done drawing, I'll put it up on this projection thing, and then people can see it. We could, rate them against each other, but it'd be so much cooler to have 3 different things instead of 3 versions of the
Nice,
same
okay.
stuff, That's just what I was thinking. What do you guys think?
Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's general consensus.
And a little cooler idea, I've got something I've probably never done, and probably shouldn't do actually. I will draw Buffy in a Supergirl costume. How about that?
I mean, that sounds cool.
And it's done. Oh, Harry thought it was original.
So George, how did you
Oh, right, I'm sorry.
how did you get into drawing Buffy?
Drawing comics or just drawing Buffy?
Well, which one's the more interesting story? Pick that one.
Probably the drawing Buffy because I can name drop, which everybody always seems to appreciate. Everybody's always asked me, yeah, how'd you get it? What was the deal? And did you have to really go after it? And I'm not ashamed to admit, but I actually never watched an episode of Buffy in my life before I got there. I wasn't into. I mean, I knew about Buffy from pop culture because, of course, how can you be around all of this stuff? You may have never seen the Hunger Games, but you know about the Hunger Games. And with Buffy, it was the same thing for me. And I get a call. I was working for Wildstorm at the time, doing a book for them. And Dark Horse editor Scott Alley called me and said, hey, I've never met you. We have a mutual friend, a guy named Jason Pearson, and he gave me your number and I wanted to call you. Yeah, Joss Whedon and I were talking, and he wants to start up another Buffy series, and he wants to take it so that it takes up after season 7, so what we're going to do is season 8 of Buffy. And he really wants you to draw it. And of course, while I'd never seen Buffy, I knew who Joss Whedon was. I was a big Firefly fan and all that. So I was like, yeah, right, Joss Whedon said he wanted me. Boy, that is a low trick because editors are not, it's not above them to do that sort of thing, to really name drop. Like, yeah, I was talking to George Lucas and he said, you'd be so good for Star Wars, And of course you're sitting there going, well, if George Lucas wants me, how can I say no? And I thought the same here, and I was like, wait a minute. That is a sneaky little thing, dude. You should not be playing so low like that.
Sorry about that.
And he's like, no, really. We had a list of people, and Joss made this list, and you were on it, and, he wanted to know. And I was like, yeah, right. If that's the case, why don't you have Joss call me and tell me he wants me on Buffy? And I thought that was the end of it, because I'd never worked for Dark Horse, and I thought, oh, whatever. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm cool with it. And oddly enough, the next call I got was, hey, and it's funny because Joss sounds like he's sleepy. He always sounds like he's sleepy. Hi, Georges. This is Joss Whedon, and yeah, I'm a real big fan of your work. And I was like, hey, Mr. Wheaton, how are you doing? Yeah, no, I love Buffy, and I think it's great, and I would love to do your book and all that. And I, of course, like I said, never saw an episode. So within that time frame, they had sent me season 6 and 7. And I got caught up like within 2 months. So I was on Buffy overload when I probably started that book. And but that's how it started. He was writing the series, so he was really picky about what he wanted. And somehow I made the cut. To this day, I'm almost afraid to ask him why me, because you think it'll be, oh, wait a minute, it wasn't supposed to be you, it was supposed to be somebody else. So to this day, I just sort of grin and bear it and go, wow, yeah, Joss Whedon wanted me for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So that's a long story, even longer.
It's a pretty good story.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, see? It's always great when you can name drop. And then I throw a little Felicia Day in there, a little bit of Nicholas Brendan, and all that. And, yeah. Who I've actually partied with, and they are very big partiers, which is really good. But that's it. Any other name dropping can be done by other people.
So I don't know if you can top that, but do you have an interesting story about getting into comics, Mike?
You guys know Nick Choi, man. I was in an elevator once.
He got on?
No, but he was on the floor right after I got in. I didn't start really reading comic books until I was, I don't know, I guess like college really. I mean, I did read some like growing up and stuff, and I did like them on and off, but I didn't really keep, become a really hardcore comic book fan until I was in college with Kevin Smith's Daredevil run.
That was Phil
I'm
Lester.
boring myself already. No, it was Joe Quesada.
Oh, that's right, Joe was doing it. He did that with Green Arrow.
Yeah. And then I got hardcore into comic books, and I started buying a lot of them, and this was like really later on. So I just really love comic books. I went to college for an MIS degree, and I got a business degree. I was working at IBM for 3 years until I realized, oh crap, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So I became friends with some of the people at Top Cow, and I called up the editor, and I said, hey, this was like late in the middle of the night where I had this revelation, holy crap, I do not want to do this for the rest of my life. And I called her up and I said, hey, is there any way I can get a job in comics at Top Cow? They were like, what can you do? I don't know. I have a computer programming major, and they're like, well, we can't do that. And I was like, well, I have a marketing minor. And they said, okay, maybe you can come in and be an intern. So I was like, okay. And I quit my job on Valentine's Day 2003. I moved from Houston, Texas to Los Angeles, and didn't have a car. Basically bunked on someone's couch, and basically, I was just there hoping to get a job in comics. I didn't care what. And it just so happened that I was really lucky that Top Cow had an in-house studio. And while I was waiting for the marketing job to fill up, there was this guy, Marcel Vestry, very tall and clothing and smelled kind of good. And then there was just a bunch of guys at the studio, and I decided to kind of, I doodled some. And I think that kind of was why I was drawn to comics a lot, like chicken and egg type situation. But tried to draw a little bit and tried to draw a little bit more until the point where I was drawing about 18 hours a day. Continued to do that for about 18 months, and 18 months later they gave me Witchblade.
Wow.
And yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. So basically, if the marketing gig had opened up, like as soon as I got there, I'd be a marketing.
Good thing it didn't.
Well,
How the sketches coming along?
How long do we have exactly?
I think these are an hour-long panel.
So zombie.
I don't know. Do you guys know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now.
So
2.5 days.